Hey there, this is Classy Train, my first video game I'm developing. I'm writing the code, creating the art, and composing and performing the music for it. In this video, I'll show the progress I've made to reach a working demo of this classic style platformer. I'll go through the first levels, level select system, main menu, logo, and more. So now when you start the game, you actually land on a title screen instead of hopping right into the level. On the top of the screen, you'll see the Classy Train logo that I made. Created this in Sprite, just started by adding some white text, then a black outline, added a gradient to it, and then tried to incorporate some other objects from the game, such as the red train, smoke coming out of it, and the rails going across the middle. Also added a golden note since I want the music I'm creating to be an important part of the game's atmosphere. The background for the title screen is a level prototype. Thought it was kind of fun to have some movement going on so the screen isn't static and the game feels more alive. Lastly, the start button I tried to make look like a train ticket, thought that might be a fun detail. So moving into the main menu now, where the player will select the actual levels and look at best times, I built out this new level select screen. The old one was intended to look like a world map with the train lines visible, and while I like this idea, it was a little too confusing in its current state, so for now I went with a much more simple grid system for selecting levels. Each of the lines goes down as columns, and the worlds across as rows. Right now I just have the art for the mountain world, but planning on adding a beach and city one as well. In order to unlock the next group of levels, you have to complete the previous ones. To unlock new train colors at the bottom here, the player has to complete all levels within the previous line. So for the blue train, all the red levels would have to be completed. The best time for each level is displayed on the button for it. I'll click into the first group of levels now, the mountain red line. I added this intro screen that the player sees before hopping into the actual level, and also created this railway manager character you're seeing on the right side of the screen. If it looks a little familiar, it's because I made it in the same style that I made my avatar, who does the narration for this channel. Thought it'd be more fun to have a character present this info to the player, and to give the game a bit more life. Also was trying to add some life into the game by having the townspeople moving on the station platform here. This line consists of 4 tracks, and if the player gets through each without losing a life, they complete the line. For the first levels, I wanted to make them a bit tutorial-like so the player could get introduced to the game. I added tutorial text into the background of each of the levels so you can learn as you play, and the first levels start off pretty simple. First, just about the concept of going into the next station, second one about jumping, third about enemies, and the fourth about using the train cars to stop the enemies. Also, another thing that I did that I found helpful when building out these levels was actually to give the tracks names, so I kind of had a concept to build around when I designed them. And you can see the track's name, ID, and progress tracker on the bottom left of the screen. At the end of each level, a windscreen is shown with the user's current and best times for the level, and a little fireworks fanfare and some townspeople appearing on the platform. Looking to add in a little wind song that plays here as well. At the end of the group of all 4 levels, a summary screen is shown, with the time for each track and the overall time of the line. For this best time and level unlock system, I used the player pref save functionality built into Unity to save each best time based on the level's build ID. I then loaded all 4 of the current track times here, add them up to get the best overall line time, and then check if there's a new best time by comparing the current total with the previous best time total. The best time is what is displayed on the level select screen, and what's used to determine which levels are unlocked. As a side note, I wrote a nice little script to convert the seconds into a nice hours, minutes, seconds, and millisecond format. Though if someone is taking hours to complete these short levels, there's probably something else wrong going on. Overall, this progress is an important step in the game's development because I finally finished one of its core game loops. From level select to the level start screen, to each of the 4 tracks with their respective windscreens, to the final line summary screen, which then goes back to the level select screen. I now have a small package that's representative of the game's general concept that I can use as a demo to get feedback. For next steps, I'm working on adding the next 2 groups of levels, the blue and green line, and working on sound design. I'm also planning on uploading what I have so far to Steam so I can start getting more feedback from testers and hopefully get a few wish lists as well. Interested in learning about what the store page and upload process is like, and want to force myself to polish some things up in order to get the game ready for that. Thanks for watching. Would love to hear any comments, advice, or feedback on the game or devlog. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thanks again, and stay tuned for more.